Welcome to the week ahead reading for March 23rd through 30th. Today we're going to be using the Moonchild Tarot Deck. I've already pulled my 2 cards. I do know that it is going to be one collective reading, so we'll see what comes through. I'm seeing someone with a racket. It looks like it has the string and the ball on it. It's like a really old-timey kind of toy. So you're trying to hit it on that it looks like a ping pong, but then there's this emphasis on but it's never going to fall because it's always attached. It would be different if you had just a loose ping pong ball or a tennis ball and you're trying to keep it up in the air because it could go flying, but this is never going to go that far. There's this dynamic between illusion perception of the structure, the containers of what we actually have control over. I wouldn't say this is necessarily that the string is acting as a safeguard, but it's a crucial piece that we're forgetting about in the infrastructure, in the setup. Is this talking about a specific area? Life overall. Having okay. So it's like these invisible strings that there's things in the periphery that it's like when we're doing this, we're so focused on hitting the ball against the paddle that we are forgetting how the thing was designed, which is that it's attached. And so it's like that's coming up in our life, that we're forgetting some of the fundamentals in how things work. Okay, I'm already getting to flip over the first card. All right, so we have the Strength card. And this is about, let me see if I can get this a little closer. It's like, mental toughness, fortitude, your willpower. So on this card, so there's a woman seated and then she has a lion behind her. So it's like she's tamed the beast, that she has such a strength, but a grace about her as well, that she's not afraid. She's not afraid of it, and she's tamed it. We have control over that situation, but I just keep getting this idea of, but there's aspects of it that are bigger than us. Hence, like the idea behind this card, this is a very big picture. This is abstract in some ways. So, like, what is strength? The types of strength. And there can be, debate or discussion or analysis around like what that means. What do we consider in society to be strong? And that's why, like when I was explaining, it's like, okay, this could be mental toughness, it could be emotional toughness. I keep getting this idea of like there's some resiliency too. There's a strength in being able to keep going. So, but back to the string again, but this is something that we didn't put there. We didn't make this racket with the string attached to the ball. We're just using it. This is a tool. This is something that we could decide to put down. It's something that feels very temporary. Yeah, it's just coming up over and over again to like remember who the manufacturer is. And of course, we're having a toy analogy here, but this is talking about things in your life overall. Like, who's the manufacturer of your life? And to a degree, obviously, you are choosing to wield the tools at your disposal. You're choosing to be an active or passive participant in your life, including the choices that you make, the responses that you have. But there's just things that are bigger, or things that, okay, I'll just give some different examples here. The clothes on your back, decorations or decor, where you actually live. Like, did you build your house or your apartment? So there were other manufacturers of your life that you live. And we may never see or know any of those people, but the recognition of the impact. This is feeling so meta. I'm curious where this is going as to why we're needing to it's coming across like it's like this sacred pause. It's remembering like the network. So I'm seeing as if it's a web, like a spider web. There's all these different pieces that are connected. We tend to just say, oh, that's a spider web or it's cobwebs. Ooh. And we're forgetting that there's all of these little pieces, strings that are coming together to make something that is that output, that is the life that you have. It feels like it's a practice of gratitude. It feels like it's a practice of awareness, but that it could be used for grounding because you're really taking a moment to sit, not even totally in appreciation, but yes, in appreciation for the things that you do have, but just like being curious. Okay, I have this fly swatter. Well, who's the person that came up with that color? when was this made? Who came up with this like just knowing that there's so much history, like the domino effect of all of these changes and actions taken by countless other people over time, over generations, across culture. Okay, I'm getting to move into the next card to supplement some of this here. We have Six of Wands. So this is about cycles, balance, harmony. Ooh. So a 6 is like a harmonious card, but you can see here, this is a completely symmetrical card. So everything is mirrored. And yeah, so the cycles, like cycles of life. I have a card in my moon deck that I pulled. I forget if it was for a collective reading. I think it was an individual reading I pulled the other day. Literally called the cycles card, and it's very similar in premise to this card, in that when things are cycling, it means, well, there's going to be a beginning and there's going to be an end, and things are not permanent. They are transient. They are temporary. And when we can be settled into that, she's completely relaxed. She's grounded. She's like, okay, well, this is going to wash over me and then it's going to move forward and out. I was mentioning resilience a little bit for the strength card. Actually, yeah, I do like I do like what's happening, that they're both kind of in a semi-seated position. So for the strength card, she's a little bit more active, and this one she's like more passive, but it's because she's really centered and present. And also for this, just for context, when we have wands are like an action, passion, it's fire element. But you wouldn't say, oh, looking at this, that she's running around, but it's because the fuel, the spark in her life is being tied to the recognition of the flow, almost being like the observer of it, the participant, but not in that you need to be a driver in any capacity. And that's really what's happening with her whole little racket situation. If we want to ever put it down and not play that anymore, we don't have to. We can do something else. So our life is made up of a series of endless choices. And with that, we can decide where we want to fall on just bearing witness, but I just keep getting the emphasis. It's not that like it means that you're not deciding anything. You make a choice to be an observer. You make a choice to be grounded, grateful, present, to be curious, like all those things that I was talking about before. I want a little bit more details on what this means for this specific week, because this feels like very big picture concept, like total perspective shift. People could flow in and out of this as the week is progressing. So either you are someone who never thinks this way, and it's just, even if you just do it once or twice, that it will be impactful, influential on how you are reacting to, engaging with what comes up this week. For others, this could be something that you decide to have as a daily practice. I'm seeing like journal prompt, like each morning or each night, you're writing down, and keep seeing that it's 3 bullets. Like you're just jotting 3 things down that you got curious about, that you observed today, that you saw as an invisible string in your life, a structure that you have ignored or that you haven't appreciated, of, well, the fact that this works. And I think part of the reason now, as I'm saying that we're having this, is because there's a lot that we can look around at now in the present time and see what doesn't work. And the emphasis is, who's the manufacturer? Who are all the people that have contributed to everything that are building your life? Contributed. So created something, set something up, made something work, helped to maintain whatever is happening in your life, or just the things that are working, rather than only looking and finding and identifying the things that don't work. So that's why I think this is interesting in a way, as like a gratitude practice, but it's a very specific lens through which you're finding gratitude. It's not just, oh, well, I'm thankful that I have my house. It's, I'm thankful that there was probably hundreds of people involved in conceptualizing where this house was going to be plotted, architects coming up with the actual design, all of the laborers and vendors and craftspeople that were putting all of it together, and then painting it, and then putting the ducts in, and then inspecting it to make sure it was safe. Like, it goes on and on and on. Then you have the realtor, and then you have all the people that lived there before you. And then now that's where you're at. So just recognizing the path. It's not that we just get from point A to M, let's say. We have all of those letters in between, and to actually take a moment to acknowledge them. For quick analysis here, because I did start to do this already, imagery-wise, they're both seated. There's both this image of, I would say, yeah, a full moon on both of these cards. This one's a little bit more faded. It's more gold than it is like a classic moon, but they both have a full moon in the back. Those are culmination energies. If you look at their hands as well, so she has very active hands in mudras, where she has her pointer finger and her thumb connected. And then here she has her hands on her lap. They're pointed down, versus if it's pointed up, it's open with the flow of energy. So that means that she's concentrating her energy, cycling it within herself. The big astrology that we have this week is on the 25th, which is Wednesday, the Saturn Cazimi in Aries. We were talking about the structure in your life. We're talking about the action. That's Aries, Saturn and Aries coming together. And whenever you have a Cazimi, it's because the sun is involved. So something's illuminated. We're realizing something. So I think that makes a whole lot of sense as being the main astrological action this week, and the theme of what is transpiring. I will have a YouTube video on the Saturn Cazimi in Aries, so be on the lookout for that in my YouTube channel, and you can get the astrological overview.